Okay, perfect. There we go. Uh, 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 uh. Whoop, there we go. All right, we're off to the races. We are live. Woo! Welcome to Randsanity, episode 188 on December the 5th, 2025. It is cold as crap outside. It really is. It's like, I don't know, teen degrees outside. Not happy. I was freezing my butt off when I was outside earlier. And that was just, not super great. But anyway, how's everyone doing tonight? Good, I'm hoping. Excellent. Not too much happened today in the world of music. It's one of these things that, as I said, it gets a little bit later in the year, and because it's December, there's less touring shows. So you don't get a lot of the festival information. You don't get a lot of the big touring concert stuff that happened over the years, just because it's that time of year. So the whole music thing slows down a little bit. The industry itself, when like the second week of December until like the first week of January, everyone would leave. There'd be no record executives left. So if we had anything to do with record execs, not happening at all. Indies, everybody, they just kind of took like a month off. It must be nice. I mean, we still have to work. Radio station has to work 24/7, 365. But the record companies, no, they're out. They're bailing. So there was a lot of the ads would slow down, like we wouldn't do adding of new songs to rotation. Without, new song ads, it relied on playing stuff that we already had in currents, but there was nothing really new, and not a lot of artists released new music, so that was also part of the case. So it was, very interesting that time of year, it really does slow down. It just is what it is, that's all. So, let's see. Let's get into this. I'm going to change this camera for 1 second because I want to fix this one because I don't like what I'm seeing there. There we go. All right, I fixed that one. Now back to that. Yeah, I didn't like that. There was something going on with the lens flare. So anyway, all right. So let's go backwards a little bit. We'll start today with 1960. Holy 60s. Elvis Presley, the king, Elvis the Pelvis. He started a 10-week run at number 1 on the U.S. album charts with G.I. Blues. It was from his 5th number 1 album, and all the music on this album comprised of songs that he had appeared in the film G.I. Blues. So all the songs were based on the movie G.I. Blues. I believe that had to do with... they changed something about that. I went to read about it, but I was bored, so I didn't. It happens, What do you want me to do? I get bored too. Some of this stuff is a little boring. I mean, of course we want to know what's happening with all this, but it's like, I don't know. So, all right, I'm going to change something here. Sorry, this setting's annoying. There we go. All right. In 1960, on December the 5th, Paul McCartney and Pete Best, the drummer from the Beatles before Ringo Starr, were arrested for pinning a condom to a brick wall and then lighting it on fire. What the hell, man? I think this goes back to when they got kicked out of Germany, and basically they were all young when this happened. George Harrison actually got kicked out of Germany because he was only 17 at the time and he couldn't play past curfew, which is like 10 p.m. And then this is when I think McCartney and Pete Best, they were trying to move their shit out of a building because the landlord, the person they were staying with, was also the club owner. And when they were talking to somebody else at a different club, this guy got jealous and pretty much said, "Get out of my house!" And he kicked them out. And when these guys were, screwing around, we're like, "Look at this guy, he sucks." So they apparently pinned a condom to the brick wall and lit it on fire. And the German police arrested them, and they said to get out. Do not return to Germany. We do not want you here. Mach schnell, get out. Oh, the Beatles. You crazy Beatles. Now this one I was like, wait, Lauren Green, who was the star of the NBC TV show Bonanza, was number 1 on the U.S. singles chart with Ringo? I went to listen to it and I was like, wait, what the hell is this? I was like, okay. Yeah, it was not what I expected at all. Please feel free to listen to it. You really don't need to, though. I'll just tell you now, you're not going to miss much. Your life will not be enhanced a whole lot by hearing it. And you're not going to be like, oh my God, that was the best song I've ever heard. A number one song. No, you're not going to do any of that. I was just like, okay. The notable thing was he was only the second Canadian to have a U.S. number one single in 1964. So I guess there wasn't a lot of Canadian singers that were screaming up the charts. Do they consider singles new, even if the album has been out for 6 weeks? Yes. Singles can be new on a released album, even if it's out for 6 weeks or 6 months, because the single can be released out of that. So it's a new single. So yes, that is true. You absolutely can do that. A new single does not need to be new music. It can be a new song released. Hey, the newest single from this album, the album's been out for a year. It's still the newest single because that's what the record label's pushing. We'll actually get to that a little bit tonight when we dive into Spotify and talk about how horrible Spotify is. Beach Boys, 1964. They started a 4-week run at number one on the U.S. album chart with Beach Boys Concert. It was the group's first number one. And the album was recorded live at the Memorial Stadium in Sacramento, California. It's one of the few live documents of the original lineup of the Beach Boys and an officially released album form. So, yeah, there weren't a whole lot of that. Don't forget, smash like, hit subscribe. You also have to hit the whole notification thing. Otherwise, you don't know that this is happening. If you don't know this is happening, well, that's your damn fault. It's not mine, because it happens every night at 11 o'clock. I'm right here. This is what I do. In 1965, the Beatles, once again, they performed their very last show in their hometown of Liverpool when they appeared at the Liverpool Empire during the group's final UK tour. They had 5,100 tickets for sale, and 40,000 people showed up to buy the tickets. Pretty good ratio. It's not 400,000, but, 40K is pretty good in Liverpool, I imagine. They had the number one single out at the time, We Can Work It Out, and Day Tripper. That was what sort of was pushing them at that moment. In 1967, Jimi Hendrix was playing at a concert in Glasgow. And halfway through his set, management closed the curtains on him. And basically because the venue regarded movements with his guitar as having overtly sexual tones. So, I mean, Jimi Hendrix was doing, like, what, and this? And they said, all right, that's it. That's enough. We're cutting this guy off. So they cut his concert short because of sexually overt tones. I mean, the 60s, right? When I went to, Free Love and all that, you're worried about Jimi Hendrix on stage, like, performing what? I don't know. 1968, the Rolling Stones released their new album, Beggar's Banquet, and they celebrate with a party in London. The main highlight of the event was a food fight, apparently, with pies that they had supplied and had ready for it. Keith Richards missed it because he was sick. The original album cover for the album was just a plain white invitation, but they later changed it to a graffiti from like a bathroom. So if you ever see that, it actually looks like a dirty bathroom I've been in once or twice, just because, we all have been there at some point. To a dirty bathroom in a club. In 1973, Paul McCartney and Wings released Band on the Run. It was his 5th album since his departure from the Beatles. There was 2 hit singles from the album, Jet and Band on the Run. This made it McCartney's most successful album, complete album, after the Beatles. The majority of the Band on the Run record was done at EMI Studios in Nigeria. McCartney wanted to make an album in an exotic location. Yeah, he just wanted to travel on somebody else's dime because the lit company was like, sure. What, you want to go in Nigeria, Lagos? Sure, we'll pay for all that. Um, McCartney went into the studio with his wife, Linda, at the time. Most of the time, he played all the parts himself as well as the bass. So McCartney was all about making that happen himself. You know, that multi-talented. 1976, the punkest band in the punk band era ever. NME, the London Music Review, reviewed the Sex Pistols' debut single, Anarchy in the UK, saying, Johnny Rotten sings flat, and the song is laughably naive, and the overall feelings is of a third-rate Who imitation. Of course, it doesn't say who that was that gave that review, just NME, because that person would have got lots of hate from a lot of people because people love the Sex Pistols and Johnny Rotten because it was, in fact, all that. Now, see, again, I talk about this all the time. Police and rock stars. In 1979, while Stevie Ray Vaughan was in a dressing room, okay, he's in his dressing room while he was getting ready before the performance in Houston, an off-duty police officer, off-duty, okay, arrested him after witnessing him using cocaine near an open window. He was formally charged with cocaine possession, subsequently released on $1,000 bail. He was sentenced to 2 years probation and prohibited from leaving Texas. Now, again, it's off-duty police officer, plain sight. Okay, if you're standing in the window and you're snorting a line of cocaine and someone sees you, that's in plain sight. Close the curtains, bro. I mean, all you have to do is close the curtains or turn your back. Don't stand there in the window like, hey, snorting blow here. I mean, I always wonder how rock stars, you know, they boarded the bus. They did this. They did this. What are you doing to allow them in? Remember, the police are like vampires. They can't come in unless you invite them. You know, if you are clearly breaking the law, that's inviting them. Plain sight rules, people. I guess that's not in the Rockstar Handbook. We were given that growing up in New York. That was sort of the New York Handbook. Don't do stupid shit in front of the police. I mean, plain sight. That's all it requires. It did help to have a lawyer in the family, but that's, you know, neither here nor there. Now, I have no idea who this person is, and this is going to make me sound like a horrible human being, okay? I'm sorry. It just is. So I'm giving you that warning now. In 1987, Fat Larry James, who is the drummer, singer, and the leader of Fat Larry's band, died of a heart attack at age 38. Now, the rest of it's kind of irrelevant, except for the fact that The Avenue, from his first album, Feel It Has Been Sampled by NWA, Ice-T, Jungle Brothers, and Run DMC. But the thing is that Fat Larry died at 38. Does his name have anything to do with the fact when he died of a heart attack at 38? If he was, in fact, Fat Larry? I'm just wondering, okay? I ask these questions because I'm curious. I didn't Google Fat Larry to see if he truly is a Fat Larry, but, you know, obviously he did something great because, you know, sampled by NWA, Ice-T, Jungle Brothers, and Run DMC. Must have had some great stuff, but yeah, I'm just thinking that, you know, maybe he should have been Skinny Larry and he would have lived a little bit longer than 38. That's just me. Call me crazy. I mean, again, like I said, I'm a horrible person. Don't think I'm not. It's all right. Hit like, because you should like that. That was funny. All right. And if not, well, you know, then fuck off. 1987, Belinda Carlisle went on to #1 in the U.S. singles chart with Heaven is a Place on Earth. It's a good song. Just listen to it. The ex-Go-Go's member, it was her first solo #1, also #1 hit in the UK. The promotional video for this one was directed by actress Diane Keaton and features an appearance of Carlisle's husband, Morgan Mason. So Diane Keaton, who's an Academy Award-winning actress, directed this thing, which I didn't understand, but all right. I didn't know that she was a director of it. But it's a good song. I just listened to it. I hadn't heard it for a long time. I was like, oh yeah, I like this song. It's fun. Now, we actually talked about Jesus and Mary Chain yesterday, so I think the algorithm of time just says, oh, this one's interesting. Also in 1987, the Jesus and Mary Chain were banned from appearing on U.S. music TV show after complaints of blasphemy. Blasphemy. When the group's name was flashed across the screen. What? Okay. Apparently, CBS show asked the band to be called JANC. I don't know what that means. Jesus and not chain? Like, what exactly is jank? We're janky. Anyway, the group pretty much told them to fuck off and didn't agree with it. I was like, of course they did. Yeah, that's like telling Jim Morrison, don't say couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Change the words to this. Sure, I'll get right on that. Yeah, if you listen to any of this stuff, he didn't. That's how that worked. Whitney Houston started a 10-week run at #1 on the UK singles chart with I Will Always Love You. It was the longest run at #1 for a female artist. The Dolly Parton penned song was taken from the Bodyguard soundtrack. We talked about it the other night. That was from 1992. 1993, Doug Hopkins, who was the co-founder of the American rock band the Gin Blossoms, took his own life. He was 32 years old, and he had struggled with mental health for most of his life. Now, particularly as the band's fame grew, following his best hit, Hey Jealousy, Doug found it to be a bit of a struggle to deal with the popularity and the fame of the fortune, and he wound up committing suicide in 1993. So, yeah, if you're ever feeling that way, seek help, people. There's other alternatives, just so you know. 2004, Bono. U2 started a 2-week run at #1 on the UK album chart with How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. It was the band's 9th UK #1. They also went to #1 in the US album, giving them the 6th US #1 album. That's actually a good album. I like U2. If you don't know that, I've seen U2 many times. It's probably one of the most seen bands that I've been to. Trying to think. I think that wins. I think U2 is the most I've seen at shows. All right, so memorabilia sales of stuff. Now this is one I found to be pretty interesting. The Beatles lyrics handwritten by Sir Paul McCartney to an early version of Maxwell's Silver Hammer sold for $192,000. A guitar owned by Jimi Hendrix sold for $168,000. A notebook containing lyrics written by Bob Marley sold for $72,000. A poem penned by Doors frontman Jim Morrison made $50,000 at Christie's. And now this one is the one that just like, bam. Audrey Hepburn's little black dress from the movie Breakfast at Tiffany's sold for, ready for this one? $923,000. $923,000. $1 million for a dress worn by Audrey Hepburn. I mean, again, I have memorabilia, but I keep the memorabilia from stuff that I have partaken in. I can't imagine spending $1 million on a dress that someone had. Even if you're stupid rich, go have your own damn memories. Go get memorabilia from something you did. Holy crap, that's amazing. Blows me away. That just blows me away when someone has that much cash. I just don't understand that. That just, to me, is a little bit bizarre. I mean, you tell me. Am I crazy? I would not spend that kind of money, right? Hit the like button, people. Come on, let's go. Nobody's having any conversations tonight. Everybody's bored. What's going on here? Try reconnect. I don't know what's going on here. Stupid studio? Who knows? Anyway, yeah, that I just find to be crazy. That's a little bit nuts in the grand scheme of things. All right. Now, this one goes back to having to use some math. So I had to math this a little bit, all right? In 2009, an interview, okay? In 2000, well, what's going on here? Why does it keep telling me it's disconnecting? Stop doing that. Stop disconnecting. Unstable video quality. Why is it unstable? It shouldn't be unstable. There's nothing unstable about this. The only thing that's unstable is me. My video quality should be completely stable. Anyway, 2009, an interview with the UK daily newspaper, The Guardian, George Michael said he had cut back on his cannabis intake and now only smoked 7 or 8 spliffs per day instead of the 25 he used to smoke. All right, so we did the mathing. We did the mathing on amount of weed smoked in a day. Now, if he was smoking 7 or 8 spliffs a day now, but he was smoking 25 originally, 25 spliffs is approximately a gram per, okay? About a gram per spliff. That's a normal size doobage, all right? So if he was doing 25 a day, let's round it up. 28 equals an ounce. So he was doing about an ounce of weed a day. There's 16 ounces in a pound. So it would take him 16 days. So just a little bit over 2 weeks. He's smoking about a pound of weed every 2 weeks. And that means that he would smoke 23 pounds a year. Okay? 23 pounds of weed a year is what he was smoking. So that's a pretty hefty sum right there. Now, why does this thing keep kicking out? I don't know what's going on here. Having some weird connection issues. I'm not sure what's happening here. Why everything's giving me shit connecting tonight. Don't know. But we go back to Snoop Dogg then, who, again, when he was telling us that he was doing 80 joints a day, 80 spliffs a day, 80 grams a day, 2.85 ounces a day. Okay, that's a lot. That means that it only took him 5.61 days to get to a pound. Okay? 5.61 days, Snoop would smoke a pound a week, meaning that in a year's time, he would smoke 65 pounds a year. 65 pounds a year. Okay? That's a lot. It's a lot of weed in a year. 65 pounds. I'm not sure how you can be healthy and smoke that much. I mean, just the smoke alone, and how you can, I don't understand how you can smoke 25 joints a day. I mean, that's 1 an hour if you're awake 24 hours a day. If you're awake for, the normal 12, that's like 1 every 30 minutes. Literally, I'm stoned. I'm getting unstoned. I'm stoned. I'm getting unstoned. I don't get that at all. What's happening here? Why is this connection shitty tonight? I have no idea why this connection is shitty. It just keeps telling me that my connection's shitty. It says that's unstable. I don't know what unstable is. I'm not sure about that. So I don't know if anybody got my whole thing about weed and George Michael. Did anyone get that? Did anyone see it? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. All right. This is annoying beyond belief at this point. It just keeps dropping. I'm not sure why. Okay. Well, we'll just keep going. We'll pretend like it doesn't exist. In 2009, Phish played their final show of their fall tour at the John Paul Jones Arena in the University of Virginia. At the beginning of the first set, an erratic fan proceeded to run on stage fully naked. He ran up and hugged Trey Anastasia and kissed him on the cheek. He made 3 laps around the stage, finally before being chased down by security. Why you're naked at a Phish show? Not sure. Why you're naked on stage at a Phish show? I'm not sure. Why you're naked on a stage at a Phish show kissing Trey Anastasia? I'm less sure. And how you got away from the security doing 3 laps, that one I'm sure, because they're like, all right, whose turn is it to tackle the naked guy? Jimmy, you tackle the I'm not tackling the naked guy. It's up to you, man. Phil's got to take the naked guy. I mean, if you got to tackle the naked guy, you're drawing the short straw on that one. Security's backstage looking at each other going, do you want to get the naked guy? I don't want to get the naked guy. Dude, it's your turn. You got to get this naked guy. I mean, I would not be excited about me having to get the naked guy. That's just me. Why is this thing just crapping out? This is just ridiculous. I have no idea why it's freezing up. It keeps freezing up here. Make it stop, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure why I have such bad service this evening. Normally it is not that bad. But apparently it is. I'm not sure why. Trying to reconnect. I don't know what's happening here. Stream health. Stream health, it says it's healthy, but it's not great. I'm not sure why. Who knows? All right, well then I'm just keep right on going. All right, screw it all. All right. A statue of David Bowie was set to go up in the town where he first performed as Ziggy Stardust following the success of a crowdfunding campaign. More than 650 people pledged sums totaling more than $190,000, 19 hours before the deadline. The statue would be up in Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire, where Bowie unveiled his Ziggy character. Buckinghamshire. Sorry, I forgot the ham part. Not just Buckinghamshire, Buckinghamshire. He's got some crazy-ass names in London. Buckinghamshire, whatever. All right. Main thing tonight is Spotify. All right. In 2013, Spotify responded to critics by revealing how much each act can expect to earn from the music streaming site. The company said it paid an average of 0.007 per play, according to figures in its new website. Spotify artists aim specifically at musicians. They explained the business model, and Spotify said it's paid more than $1 billion in royalties since its 2008 launch. Now, the thing is this, okay? They've been criticized for a bunch of stuff. Part of the stuff they've been criticized for is pay for play. All right? So one of the things about that is in the radio industry, we're not allowed to do pay for play, okay? Pay for play is basically giving someone premium access when they buy it. They spend $2,000 and they're going to get premium appearance for X amount of weeks. So Spotify was taking $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. It went on different levels for premium access, where they were allowed to then get better, locations of where it is. So that's part of it. Okay, that was part of it. Now, Spotify also said that, we're paying all of these royalties. 70% of the total revenues go to rights holders, who then pay the artists based on their individual agreements. Well, part of that issue also is that Spotify modifies how they pay those royalties. They're not just paid a flat fee. You don't just get, one song, you get $1, you get a penny, okay? You get less than that. Basically, there's this variable nature of compensation that Spotify deals with. Major labels love Spotify. Of course they do, because they're making millions of dollars. Labels receive 18% of the shares from the streaming company, something the artists themselves never actually receive. The artists never see that, okay? Artists are not equal. There's indie labels that, as opposed to the majors, receive no advances, they receive no minimum per stream, and only get a 50% ad share revenue on a prorated basis, which pretty much means next to nothing. They don't get anything if you think about it. There was a report from 2009 that this Dagblatt from Racing Junior earned $3. $3 after the artist had been streamed over 55,000 times. Okay? Now, these are original works by the artists themselves. Now, there is ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. All of these are the royalties companies that we have to pay into. We've paid into them, hundreds of thousands of dollars annually go to these because you have to pay the royalties for the artists, for the writers, for the producers, for the musicians. Now, Spotify is paying into that, but basically what David McCandle said, an artist on Spotify would need to receive over 4 million streams per month just to garner what the minimum monthly wage of $1,000 a month would be. That's $250 a week if they'd have to have 4 million streams for an artist. So you've got a lot of the bands, like Patrick McCartney, the Black Keys, basically saying that it's not fair to the bands. It's not fair to the artists. That the guy that has $2 billion that he made from figuring out how to steal royalties from artists, nobody can really trust anybody like that. I'd rather have people steal my work than be forced to have the sales go way down in certain territories, which were so bad that some bags actually didn't get paid. David Byrne of the Talking Heads criticized the streaming service in October of 2013. If artists rely almost exclusively on the income from these services, they'll be out of work within a year. Because that's why you see a lot of bands have to tour. Bands that have not toured for years or that tour constantly because the only way they're making money is, in fact, by the royalties. Okay, does this thing just keep dropping left and right? I don't even know what's happening here. It just randomly ended. I'm not sure why. It did that. Restart computer update. Okay, I'm not sure what's happening. I'm going to try and do something here because it won't let me do anything. It said it's still going. I don't even know. Okay, so now let's see. I'm over here, back to this, taking a look. Not sure what's happening. Why? Well, I don't know why I'm having such crappy service. Sorry. Anyway, I was just bitching about Spotify. Because, that's why I don't use Spotify. I used at least YouTube Music. That's how that works. Anyway, not sure what went on with the TikTok stream. Births and deaths today. We'll move to births and deaths. We'll stop talking about Spotify and bitching about Spotify. Okay? How we doing? All right? We're doing okay? We're hanging in there? Let's see. All right. So, births and deaths. Born today, Walt Disney. Walt Disney was born today. Now, he died at the age of 65. If he was alive, he'd be 124 years old today. Think about that. He was around a long time ago. 125 years old. 24 years old. Sorry. Lisa Marie from New Brunswick, New Jersey. Lisa Marie was in Mars Attacks. She was the woman that looked like the Martian. She had the crazy head and the really curvy body. She's from New Brunswick, New Jersey. I know New Brunswick, New Jersey very well. She's 57 today. Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle. Malcolm in the Middle is 40? What the hell, man? That's just, I don't even get that. How the hell can he be 40? Okay? Really? I went to go look for pictures and I said, no, I don't want to see Malcolm in the Middle at 40. That just seems, I don't know. Malcolm in the Middle at 40. No, I don't want to see that. I just don't. Little Richard, he would have been 80. Well, he died at the age of 88. He would have been 93 today. But today is Little Richard's birthday. Jack Russell of Great White died last year. He died at 64. He would have been 65 today. Les Nims of Haircut 100 is 65 today. And Johnny Resnick of the Goo Goo Dolls, lead singer of the Goo Goo Dolls, is 60 years old today. He looks every bit of it. I saw the recent picture. I'm like, wow, you look every bit of 60. He always was kind of strange looking, but, sorry. All right, deaths. Like I said, I was going to go back way back in time. Death today. The death of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Yes, I knew I'd have to find that eventually when Mozart died. December 5th, 1791. 1791 is when he died. Okay? He was 35 years old. Mozart. We talked about Fat Larry's band. He died at 38. Doug Hopkins of the Gin Blossoms died on December the 5th. Committed suicide. He was 32 years old. Talked about, the success, just couldn't take it. Hey, jealousy. I mean, you want to be a rock star, and then when you're a rock star and you get famous, you can't handle it. I get that. Makes sense. Christy Alley. I didn't realize Christy Alley had died. She was dead at 71. Cheers. Star Trek, Christy Alley. Commander Savick. Keep barking those orders, Savick. And Norman Lear. Norman Lear, who created the Jeffersons, who created All in the Family, who created, Snyder and everything else. He died last year at 101. 101! They say laughter keeps you alive, so, well, I've been a joke for a long time, so I should be living to be 101 as well. I kid because I can. That's all I'm saying. All right. I don't know what the heck happened with the live stream tonight. Sorry, it was kind of crappy reception. It's Friday night. Everyone's having, issues, I guess. I don't know. I hope everyone had a wonderful Friday, though. And looking forward to a great Saturday. Oh, I was looking for stuff. Look what I found today. I find the most random things when I'm cleaning. Look at this one. Old CD 101 matches. And on the back, it says Columbus, Ohio. And on the back, look at this one. Corporate radio destroys lives. Truth. We were so bold and brazen. Some of the stuff we did was kind of crazy, but look at that. Unused pack of matches. Never used. It's brand new. CD 101, the alternative station. Be safe. Keep cover closed. CD101.com. Corporate radios destroys lives. Truth. I love that. That's just hilarious. Look at that. Man. Like I said, I find the most random stuff when I'm just cleaning around. All right. Well, I'm going to go because I don't know what else to do at this point. Bore you people any further? I'm going to go fall asleep on the couch like I have been doing. I got to get up early again. My hands are killing me. I was doing drywall on the ceiling today. I'll tell you what, man, that is definitely a younger man's game. Holding that shit up above my head, I was like, it's like, damn, those boards get heavy. I don't know how people hang 16-foot boards. I'm just saying. Robots aren't doing that anytime soon, just so you know. All right, I'm going to let everybody go. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I hope you had a wonderful evening. I got the wrong camera on. It's over here. Let me go back to that one. Hey, I turned the heater off, so at least Todd didn't get mad at me for that. Pilot error left and right. What can I tell you? All right. Besides that, appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your evening, whatever you're going to do. Be safe. Do something randomly kind for someone tomorrow, just because it's that time of year. It's getting cold. People are in crappy moods, even though it's becoming the holidays. And it's my birthday weekend. So you have to do something to celebrate my birthday weekend, okay? The Randsanity will continue. The birthday is coming up, and we'll do something. I don't know what yet, but something exciting. All right, take care. We'll see you soon. Hostile bandana, and we're fading to black. I think I faded to black. Did I fade to black? I think I faded back. I can't tell. This stream is ridiculous today. I don't know what it's telling me. Weird, weird, weird. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, it's so delayed. Wow. Yeah, this is so behind.